Good morning, SUNY Cobleskill. My name is Faith Norstad. I'm a senior in the Animal Science program, and here today with me is Mallory Fiorello, who is also a senior in the Animal Science program. Today we're going to be talking about a research that Mallory has done regarding sustainability with farming and agriculture, especially on a campus scene. So thank you for being here today. Before we get too in-depth with your research, could you just provide us with a little bit of background on what sustainability is and what that looks like on a campus?
Sure. So I think sustainability is like an overall idea. It's like something that you try to achieve. It's basically the idea that you're buying things as minimal as possible so that you're trying to save resources, finite resources. So whether you go to the grocery store and you limit what you buy or you limit the amount of plastic packaging you buy, it's just conscientious choices that you make towards a sustainable lifestyle. And what was the second part of the question?
What does that look like on a campus?
Okay, so on campus, it's very similar. Students, when you're a student, you have to go grocery shopping for yourself, making those conscientious decisions as to I should buy this product packaged this way, such as like body soap. I should buy a bar of body soap rather than a package like the plastic container of body soap, because mostly that's just water, but you can add water yourself with bar soap. So just situations like that and making those conscientious changes to your lifestyle is a big way in how students on campus can change their lifestyle.
So what is your experience personally with sustainability?
So I have always kind of had like a knack, like I've been interested in it. And then on campus, there's like an opportunity to become a sustainability mentor. So each resident hall has a sustainability mentor. It's kind of like, it's a paid position, but it's like a leadership role. So you have to host programs all regarding sustainability. You hold office hours in case anybody has any questions, and you're kind of just like a leader and a mentor to people if they have questions regarding sustainability or have any questions at all regarding how they can make their life more sustainable or how they can make better choices towards a sustainable living.
Awesome. And what got you interested in the sustainability?
There wasn't like a actual event, really. It's kind of just been a hobby of mine. A lot of like influence on social media and seeing like I follow like global peace organizations, and a lot of it talks about sustainability, and just seeing some of those numbers, some of the scary numbers are what kind of got me into it. It kind of like had the scare tactic, and that's why I got interested in it.
Very interesting. So what are some of your sustainability practices?
Like daily?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a bunch. I have a different, I've transitioned doing different things. Like I mentioned, body soap. I also order like shampoo and conditioner in bulk from a store, and then I fill glass bottles that I have at home, and then I ship that back. They send you like a little shipping label, and you ship it back to the company, and they wash out the products, and it goes to other people. So participating in programs like that, knowing what is recyclable and what is compostable is very important. So having that knowledge is also something that I implement in my daily life. Things like that, just making switches that can help this environment.
Wow, that's really cool. So why is sustainability important for just anyone in general?
Because population's increasing, but our finite resources are decreasing, so there's kind of a contrast there, and we need to be able to figure out long-term how are we going to sustain all these people and have the resources to do so. So that's kind of like the big question of what are we going to do in 10, 15, 30 years, because we're not going in a very good path, so making these changes can help make a difference.
That's really great. So now getting into some of your research, what are some of the ways that sustainability is being implemented on campus?
So I talked to a few different people on campus. I talked to Tom Poltinsky, who is kind of like the overseer of all the barns. And then I talked to Dirk Schubert, who is the barn manager in the livestock barn. I talked to Dr. Landis, who is a sustainability professor on campus. And after talking to them, there's a bunch of different things that are happening on campus that you might not really recognize as movement towards sustainability. But some of them include up at the dairy barn, they're doing like a flush system. So twice a day they flush the alleys that the cows walk in and like drop their manure or whatever. So then they flush the alleys with water, and it kind of like flows underneath the road into a big manure lagoon is what they call it. And the solids are separated with a separator, and they separate the solids and the liquids. The solids go to fertilize the fields, and the liquids sit in this lagoon to be reused to flush the alleys again. And there's no water ever added to that. Besides rainwater. And so that kind of keeps the cycle going and allows us to decrease our water waste up at the dairy barn, which is very important.
Mm-hmm. That's a really neat way to reuse.
Yeah.
And what were some of the challenges that you saw or heard about for sustainability on campus?
Sure. So I think one of the biggest hurdles is actually having somebody in charge and maintaining what we implement on campus. So I was talking to Dr. Landis, and he planted a bunch of trees near the Speedway, across the street from Speedway, and he said that it's very difficult finding somebody once they're planted who's going to take care of them, finding somebody who's actually going to take care of them so that they can grow and prevent soil erosion. So finding leaders in that capacity is probably one of the hardest, getting people involved.
And do you think that's just from like a lack of awareness to the situation?
Yes, I think if people understood how important trees are and woody plants are to soil composition and decreasing soil erosion, I think people just don't know. And if they did know, they would realize how important it is and maybe want to be part of that.
Yeah. And what were some of the benefits that you heard about, saw, talked about from your research of the sustainability on campus?
So after talking to some of these people, I found out that it's like really important. There's a lot of things that are going on that you wouldn't really know unless you're directly involved. So one of the important things that I learned is that they're actually like working with their crops and trying to make those more sustainable as well, not just in like the barns, but also the crops. So they're doing like cover crops to increase biodiversity. They're doing tilling, they're not doing tilling. They're doing a no-till program now that they just implemented, but they are also decreasing the amount of like brush hogging. So the track that they are taking over the fields, they're decreasing that to limit gas consumption and soil compaction to increase plant growth. So just ideas that they have you really wouldn't think would be important, but just making those small changes on the farms has been really important and really surprising.
So they're really just switching over to like more natural ways of management.
Exactly.
Okay. And what do you think could be changed on campus to support sustainability?
So I think programming, like if you look at the college catalog, you need general requirements in history, art, science. I think sustainability should be one of those. I think it should be incorporated into the gen eds that everyone needs to take, because some people, if you're like into sustainability already, you kind of already drank the Kool-Aid, you kind of know what's going on. But I think if somebody doesn't know, it's important that they're introduced to that, and I think that should be part of everyone's curriculum.
I would agree. And what was something shocking that you discovered while conducting your research and doing interviews?
The lack of knowledge and the lack of people that want to get involved in sustainability is pretty shocking to me, considering it's really important and it involves everybody. It's not just like, oh, this affects me. It affects everybody. And the lack of knowledge and people who don't want to get involved actually kind of shocked me, especially being like an agricultural school.
Mm-hmm. And how could someone get involved in sustainable practices? It's new to it all.
So there's a lot of just daily switches, like I said, that could help. So just finding those switches, what works for you. It's not about being completely sustainable. Like I have things that are made of plastic and I use things that are wasteful, but it's about making those small changes that will make your life more sustainable and more eco-friendly. Just small switches at a time. You don't have to be perfect, and I think that deters a lot of people.
Yeah,
Thinking they have to be perfect.
definitely. And what do you think the future will look like for sustainable practices on campus?
I think we're going in a really good direction. There's a lot going on campus based on what I said with the cover crops and the work in the fields and in the barns. The barn managers are definitely conscientious about where we're going in regards to sustainability, and they're definitely conscientious about what they can do, which is very important. I feel like there's a disconnect between the teacher's passion or the professor's passion for sustainability on farms versus student passion. And I think what needs to happen is the students need to be exposed to this so that they can grow a passion. And I think that would help and make the campus more sustainable overall if we got people interested.
Well, thank you so much, Mallory, giving us a little insight on sustainability.
Of course.
Thank you.